Welcome back to The Voice versus Michael Jai White here in Hollywood. You know, this town has its fair share of tough guys, but what are they really like? You've heard the various stories, now let's hear from Michael Jai White. One man that you worked with as well, and I'm not expecting such high words about him, is Steven Seagal. You start alongside him in Exit Wounds.
Right.
Now, we hear various reports on what it's like to work with Steven.
Yeah.
How did you find the experience?
I worked with Steven years earlier. He'd done Nissan soup commercials for Japan. I was a big fan of the first movies that he had done. I thought that was something that he really blew it wide open. Steven's, you know, he's an entertainer, and I look at some of the stuff and I can understand he's selling a product. I can't call him a deep martial artist. There are too many martial artists that I really honor and respect, and you know, who live that life of Budo. That you know, I couldn't put him in that same category.
What do you think about when Steven came out and said that he taught Anderson Silva the front kick that knocked out Vitor Belfort? To me, I thought it was ridiculous. Being a former Muay Thai stylist myself, it's something you learn in your first Muay Thai lesson: jab, cross, front kick. And Anderson would have learned it in his first Muay Thai lesson, but Steven came out and said, no, I taught him that.
Anderson Silva is a very nice person. I remember being on set and on deadly ground trying to get Steven Seagal to throw a front kick. And Steven Seagal could not teach Anderson a front kick that he can't do himself. Come on.
It's not in the Aikido repertoire.
Right.
Teach him some Sabaki footwork, sure.
I think Anderson Silva, as a martial artist, he's very respectful. So is Lyoto Machida. I don't want to take anything against Steven Seagal. He is what he is. He is a movie star. He is a bigger than life type of celebrity. But he knows what he's doing. He's he knows what he's doing as far as
What about this man? Universal Soldier 2. Now, big fan I am of Van Damme. How did you find working with him? And a great fight scene there towards the end of the film as well with JCVD.
I gotta say this. I don't know if many people know. I was in the first Universal Soldier with Van Damme.
Really?
Yeah, but you need the pause button to see me. In the Vietnam flashbacks, I am in the foxhole with Jean-Claude.
Oh, jeez.
Let me tell you, I met the real Jean-Claude back then. I will never say a bad thing about this man, because let me tell you, this is a real story, okay? I trained with him during that time. I was nobody. Nobody knew me. He welcomed me into working out with him. I mean, I was in the foxhole with him. It was freezing. We were in Camp Verde, Arizona, and he insisted that I wear the jacket that he had, just because I'm freezing throughout the thing. He continues to be a very nice person. Sadly, he's only done bad things to himself. Deep down, he is a really genuine and beautiful person. Can't call him a top martial artist, because there's too many martial artists, real martial artists that I know, that I couldn't put people in that same category. He is a movie star. He's a very nice person. Martial arts principles say that you keep yourself together. You don't gain 70 pounds, and you don't do harmful things to yourself. You don't embark in, the drug aspects and things like that. That's just, you can't be called a serious martial artist if you do that. Especially when there's people like Chuck Norris walking around. I can't put him in the same category. Chuck Norris is a real martial artist. That person, he's an exemplary martial artist, and he and Fumio Demura and people of that ilk.
You worked with Quentin Tarantino, Kill Bill 2. Your scene was chopped from the eventual film, but what was it like working with Tarantino, with Uma Thurman, with David Carradine? What was that experience like?
Oh man, it's great working with Quentin. Actually, Quentin used to come to the house. I used to have like blaxploitation night sometimes, right? And Quentin, I knew him prior to working on Kill Bill. We just had a bit of fun. I first had a larger role in Kill Bill. There was a whole section of the movie that he was doing, but he chose to eradicate that section for another thing that it was a really good choice. He wanted to shoot the massacre at the church, but then he really wanted me to still do a fight scene. Even though I didn't understand how it belonged in the movie, it really didn't, but we had a bit of fun. I went to Beijing and did that. And so it wasn't a surprise to me that it was cut out, because I'm on set in Beijing, we're shooting it, and I go, well, I don't get this. But he and I would do the thing where we always clowned around talking like, hey, where you going? Doing all that type of stuff. I killed your teacher. No, I'll kill you too. We would do that all the time. And he's like, we were gonna do this fight scene. He shows up with handwritten lines, and he's like, I wanna do that stuff. I'm like, are you serious? We're gonna like, we're gonna do the, you know.
Because apparently he's a live wire, right? Tarantino's just on all the time.
Yeah, but he wanted to shoot it like, you know, me saying that, you know, speaking like this, you know, like, you know, in the old Kung Fu movies. And I was like, okay.
You bastard. The only thing you can do for me is die. You killed my master Damo, and now I'm gonna kill you.
We had a bit of fun, but it didn't belong in a darn movie. I know that, so I never was upset about it.